Canadians' anger over Rogers outage might also complicate its merger hopes. Toronto Rogers Communications complex its possibilities of having antitrust popularity of a $20 billion telecom merger after Friday's massive outage highlighted the perils of Canada's powerful telecom monopoly and sparked a backlash towards its industry dominance. The Rogers Rog community outage disrupted nearly each aspect of each day life, reducing banking, shipping and authorities get admission to for millions, and hitting the U.S.'s cashless bills system and Air Canada's call center. Consumers and opposition politicians known as on the authorities to permit more competition and enact policy adjustments to minimize telecom corporations' energy. Rogers, BCE, NYSE, BCE, Inc. and TELUS, NYSE, 2, Corp. manage 90% of the marketplace percentage in Canada. Smaller internet and Wi-Fi providers depend upon their infrastructure community to supply their very own services. The truth is in Canada there is a serious monopoly of our telecommunications, New Democratic Party leader Jagmeet Singh said in a TikTok video as he launched a petition to halt Rogers' merger plans and cut up those monopolies. The effect of this outage makes it clear this monopoly cannot preserve, he brought. Industry Minister François-Philippe Champagne, calling the outage unacceptable, mentioned on Sunday that he would meet with Rogers CEO Tony Staffieri and other industry executives to talk about enhancing the reliability of networks across Canada. High cellular telephone bills had been a hot-button difficulty in latest Canadian elections. The disruption in net-get admission to mobile telephone and landline telephone connections intended a few callers could not attain emergency services via 911 calls, police throughout Canada said. Because of the Rogers outage, tens of millions of Canadians could not name 911 the previous day. Hospitals couldn't call in staff. They're changed into no manner to call families in order that they might say goodbye to their cherished ones at give up of existence, tweeted Amit Arya, Director-at-Large at the Canadian Society of Palliative Care Physicians. Rogers, which blamed a router malfunction after maintenance for the disruption, stated on Sunday it became aware that a few customers were still facing disruptions. It did no longer comment on whether the outage may want to impact the merger lawsuits. Friday's outage came days after Rogers held talks with Canada's antitrust authority to talk about possible remedies to its blocked $20 billion $15.34 billion takeover of Shaw Communications NYSE, SJR. Canada's Opposition Bureau blocked the deal earlier this year, saying it'd abate competition in a rustic in which telecom fees are some of the world's highest. The merger nonetheless awaits a very last verdict. The disruption should spark off the Competition Bureau, which typically assesses mergers primarily based on their impact on rate, to appearance greater closely at other issues inclusive of excellent and provider, stated consumer rights companies. It is a non-price impact argument. This is concentration of possession and manipulate of critical infrastructure making an ever more significant factor of failure to supply basic services, mentioned John Lawford, Gov Director of the Ottawa-based Public Interest Advocacy Centre (PIAC), which has argued against the merger on the Competition Bureau. But Vas Bednar, Executive Director of the Public Policy Application in McMaster University, said the outage become a separate issue from Rogers' merger plan. I don't think this issue will impact the merger due to the fact I am now not sure how the Competition Bureau can account for threat of larger outage, Bednar stated. University of Ottawa professor Michael Geist, who makes a speciality of the net and e-commerce regulation, stated the outage ought to be a wake-up for a central authority that has been asleep on digital policy. The blame for Friday's outage may also lie with Rogers, but the authorities and Canadian telecommunications regulator need to be held accountable for a failure to reply, he wrote on his weblog. The outage, which started out around 4:30 30 a.m. at 0830 GMT on Friday before provider became absolutely restored on Saturday, knocked out a quarter of Canada's observable internet connectivity, mentioned the NetBlocks monitoring group. The interruption turned into Rogers 2D in 15 months with an outside software program improved knocking out carrier often to purchaser clients remaining 12 months.